Okay, here's a story my mom told me about an incident that occurred in Thailand after the Vietnam War. She knew the family but didn't provide any names, so let's call the girl Mai and her boyfriend Tu. Mai and my mom were of similar ages, late teen, early 20s, when they were transported from Ban Vinai to Thailand. According to my mom, they lived in houses very close to each other, and practically everyone knew everyone in the community. One of my mom's neighbor happened to be Mai. Mai was deeply depressed because her boyfriend Tu and his family did not pass to come to Thailand after the war. Every day she expressed how much she missed him and sang kutia. Then, one day, as Mai was walking to school, she saw a figure from a distance. A man standing by a tree. As she got closer, her heart sank because he looked very familiar. When she approached, she realized it was Tu. Stunned and scared, Mai asked, Tu, aren't you supposed to be in Vinai? How did you get here? Tu explained, Oh, I came with my aunt and uncle. I told my parents that since I missed you so much, I wanted to come first. Though puzzled, Mai too missed him dearly, so she agreed to let him walk her to school. As they approached the school, Mai felt the need to pee and asked Tu to wait. He agreed, but when Mai returned, he was nowhere in sight. Worried about the strange encounter and Tu's disappearance, Mai hurried home and told her mom about the morning's events. Mai's mom, alarmed, said, Tu? Where? How can he come to Thailand if his family isn't here? Mai tried to reassure her mom, saying, Well, he told me he came with his aunt and uncle. However, her mom had just spoken to Tu's relatives, who confirmed that he was still in Vinai, causing Mai to panic. That night, as Mai and her parents slept together, Tu appeared at their window, expressing a desire to sleep with Mai. She refused, citing the lack of space, and told him to go home. The next day, Mai's parent sought the help of a shaman. The shaman instructed Mai to blow on incense sticks, revealing that the being who spoke to her wasn't Tu, but instead a tiger spirit named Chu Xia. The shaman advised making a mask from a banana leaf with eye holes for Mai to wear when Tu appeared. As night fell, Mai wore the banana leaf mask, and when Tu arrived, she was horrified to see a tall, tiger-like creature with a long tail, striped skin, and a gruesome face covered in blood. Surrounding him were Bunzong with long black hair, sharp tongues, and slanted eyes, holding leaves above their heads. Mai screamed and cried until she passed out. In subsequent encounters, Mai's parents lied, claiming that she wasn't home, and sought the shaman's help through ceremonies. Despite their efforts, Mai's condition didn't improve. After a prolonged ceremony, Mai passed away. At her funeral, my mom, also a shaman, recognized the attendees as spirits who had come to take her. According to her, Chu Xia only takes the good-looking people. This story is set in Laos. In the olden days, there lived a beautiful young lady who captivated the hearts of every young man in the village. Despite their attempts to court her, she consistently rejected them. One day, a handsome man from a different village arrived, known for his skill in playing the qing, an instrument used to send off the dead and sometimes played for entertainment. He rested at his aunt's and uncle's place before exploring the village. When he encountered the beautiful young lady, he was eager to talk to her, but she remained uninterested. Determined to win her over, the man decided to fight for her affection. Daily, he attempted to engage her in conversation, but she persistently rejected him, insisting he leave and never return. Undeterred, the man continued his efforts, desperately trying to capture her attention. As the day of his departure approached, he made a final visit, calling out to her. However, she ignored his pleas and, realizing his futile attempts, he decided to leave. Unbeknownst to him, the young lady named Mai actually harbored feelings for him. She regretted her actions but believed it was too late to rectify the situation. Overwhelmed by sadness, Mai chased after him, but he had already gone too far and she lost track of him in the forest. Heartbroken, she cried for his return but couldn't find any traces of his path. Days passed and Mai's health deteriorated rapidly. Concerned, her parents consulted a zineng, a shaman, to diagnose her condition. The shaman revealed that a spirit had taken Mai due to her beauty, looks, and profound sadness. The shaman expressed doubt about his ability to help any further. Mai's condition worsened, and realizing her impending death, she asked her mother to fulfill a last request. She pleaded for her mother to find the man and ask him to play his qing at her funeral to ensure a happy departure. Her mother, unable to accept her impending loss, reassured her that everything would be fine. In her final moments, Mai smiled, requested for her mother's promise, and passed away. True to her request, Mai sought out the man and informed him of the need to play the qing at Mai's funeral. The man, shocked by the news, wept for Mai. 3 days later, the funeral preparations were complete and the man arrived to send Mai off with his qing. As he played, everyone gathered, enchanted by the beautiful melody. Suddenly, Mai rose from her coffin, clapping with the others. Sitting on her horse, which was a bamboo bed used as a coffin, she smiled with her tongue hanging out, revealing a ghastly appearance. The onlookers, including the man, were terrified, fleeing the funeral home in fear. Haunted by nightmares of Mai seeking him, the man found it challenging to sleep. The ghostly encounter left an indelible mark on him, creating an unsettling memory of love, rejection, and a supernatural farewell. This event happened to my dad and one of my grandmas. Before the Hmong participated in the Vietnam War, my grandma would often sleep at the farm, watching over the cattle and tending to the garden. The farm was separated from the village by the highlands, thus traveling between them often took a considerable amount of time. Due to the terrain, my grandma would stay at the farm for 3 to 4 days before heading back to the village. On one particular day, my dad, who was at the time 10 or 11, was sent to accompany my grandma. When he arrived, he helped her with the farm's work. Although the day went by normally, it soon changed as night approached. As the sun set on the horizon, my grandma quickly told my dad to get inside. Despite his preference for staying out late, my dad insisted, but my grandma scolded him to get inside. Dad did as he was told. Grandma quickly prepared dinner, and afterwards, they went to sleep. With the sunlight still sneaking through the cracks of the wooden house, my dad was unable to fall asleep. His eyes were opened widely, staring at the ceiling as he lay next to my grandma in frustration. Eventually, my dad did fall asleep, but his sleep was short-lived. The sounds of footsteps emanating from the rooftop woke him up. My dad turned to my grandma, who was also awake at the time. Grandma told my dad to be quiet, just as he was about to ask what it was. She told him to pretend as though he was asleep. The stepping from above grew louder and more vicious, followed by a monkey-like screech, which terrified my dad. He covered his face with his blanket. Moments later, the sound stopped. Scared but curious, my dad asked my grandma what it was, and she responded that it may have been a monkey, or more accurately, a pinuvai. It wasn't like your average monkey. No, it was more like a vicious beast. A monster. Both my grandma and my dad made it through the night. Morning arrived and my dad insisted that they both head back home. However, my grandma replied that she couldn't grant my dad's request due to the long journey back to the village. She also mentioned that she still had to watch over the farm. Frightened, my dad asked multiple times throughout the day and even cried once. Grandma eventually gave in after discovering the death of multiple chickens with blood and plucked feathers indicating that they were preyed on. She explained that they would head back tomorrow because she still had things to take care of, and they wouldn't make it to the village before nightfall. The day passed quickly. As dusk approached, Grandma told my dad to come inside before the sun set. This time, my dad quickly obeyed. Before he did, Grandma noticed something over the horizon and pulled my dad's attention towards it. Dad looked, and to his surprise, saw a person-like figure. He turned to Grandma and asked who the person was. Grandma stumbled and in an instant chill, whispered that what was approaching the farm was not a human but rather perhaps the creature that troubled them yesterday. Goosebumps rushed throughout my dad's body as he panicked. At a closer glance, the creature was indeed not a person but what appeared to be an ape-like creature, walking upright like a human but with a hunched posture. The creature hurried straight towards the farm site. Instead of sleeping in the small hut for the night, Grandma made a hasty decision. She built a small fire, boiled leftovers in a pot, grabbed what she could, locked the doors, and headed straight to the cattle's pen. The cows had a mini shelter where they slept. Grandma quickly hurried herself and my dad in and buried the entrance with dried banana leaves. Grandma told my dad to stay put and to be quiet. For extra insurance, Grandma held tightly to the wheat scythe that she brought with her. The creature that lurked around them made its presence known as it circled the farmhouse. Grandma glimpsed and noticed how hairy and dark-looking the creature was. The creature stormed out of the outer layer of the house, not for a brief moment but this time for nearly 10 or so minutes. After much satisfaction, the creature left as quickly as it came. Momentarily later, Grandma could hear distressed calls from the chicken in the chicken pen. Too frightened to conduct any action, Grandma waited out the scene. Morning finally arrived and the two packed up what they needed and hurried home. In 1979, Nutong's family settled in Thailand, residing in the countryside. As an only son without any siblings, Nutong, around 18 to 20 years old, formed a friendship with a Lao man named A, who lived in the cities and was older, perhaps in his late 20s or 30s. Their chance meeting occurred as Nutong was on his way to the garden. A, on his way to visit relatives in the countryside, approached Nutong in the gathering darkness, seeking a place to stay for the night. This encounter led to a lasting friendship, with A meeting Nutong's parents and inviting him to visit the cities. When Nutong expressed his intention to visit A in the cities, his parents worried about the journey's dangers, including encountering supernatural beings known as Badapanzong. However, Nutong assured them he would be fine and set off with optimism. The first few days and nights of the journey went smoothly. On a hot day, Nutong encountered a girl singing Kutsia while gardening. This girl, named Sia, and Nutong attracted to each other, spending the day together. As night fell, Sia invited Nutong to stay at the garden house. Suspicious incidents began when Nutong woke in the middle of the night to strange sounds and whispers. On the third night, he overheard a conversation suggesting that Sia was not what she seemed. Panicking, he realized he might have encountered a supernatural being. The next morning, pretending to wash up, Nutong escaped by climbing onto the garden house and running away. He encountered an older Hmong man and later a couple, seeking refuge for the night. Returning home, Nutong confessed his encounter with a supernatural being to his parents. Days later, Sia found him. but only Nutong could see and hear her. Distressed, his parents called a shaman who revealed Sia's tragic story and the need for a ritual to release her spirit. Nutong's friend, A, intervened, using his knowledge of magic to drive Sia away and put Nutong to sleep. A assured Nutong's parents that they could follow him to the city, ensuring Sia couldn't harm Nutong anymore. Years passed, and Nutong, now living well in the city, was forbidden by A to return to the old town for fear that Sia might still be waiting. Long ago, in a small village in Thailand, there lived a woman named Mai who was a widow. She resided alone since her only child, a daughter, was married and no longer with her. Before Mai's husband passed away, he revealed that he had saved some money in the form of silver coins hidden in the garden hut. He instructed Mai to dig it up when the time was right, ensuring that no one was around. After burying her husband, Mai waited about a week before deciding to search for the money he spoke of. However, in her haste, she failed to check for anyone nearby. Unbeknownst to her, a man named Ling, returning from hunting, observed her digging. Intrigued, he hid and watched as Mai unearthed a handful of silver coins, placing them in a pouch tucked between the green and pink sash around her waist. Ling, captivated by the wealth, hatched a plan to acquire the coins. Days passed and Ling struggled to devise a method to obtain the coins. Finally, he decided to feign affection for Mai, believing that, as a widow, she might long for companionship. Once their relationship was established, he anticipated that she would willingly share the silver coins. Ling approached Mai one day while she was sewing outside, expressing his concern for her well-being since her husband's death. Their relationship flourished, kept secret from the rest of the village. Ling would visit Mai's house, offering meat from his hunts and helping with strenuous household chores to gain her trust. As the relationship appeared to progress positively, Ling broached the topic of the silver coins. Confused, Mai questioned how he knew about them, as she had never disclosed their existence. Ling, realizing his cover was blown, concocted a plan to eliminate Mai. A few days later, Ling poisoned Mai's food while pretending to fetch water. As she consumed the poisoned meal, Ling retreated, intending to return later to steal the coins. However, Mai's daughter visited and found her mother dead. Discovering the poisoned food, she questioned who could commit such an act. Unable to steal the coins during the funeral due to a large crowd, Ling resolved to unearth Mai's grave at night. However, as he opened the grave, Mai's ghostly voice accused him of killing her for the money. Terrified, Ling fled. Days later, Ling fell ill, prompting a visit from a shaman. After a ritual, the shaman advised the villagers to march to Mai's grave. There, they discovered the dug-up grave and a piece of torn fabric matching Ling's pants. Confessing to the murder, Ling was reluctantly buried alive with Mai, hoping to appease her vengeful spirit. As they buried them, Mai's eyes widened and a smirk crossed her face. Despite attempts to restore peace, Mai's spirit persisted, whispering haunting words. The village, unable to save Ling, buried him alive with Mai, hoping to put an end to the malevolent force. The tale ends with Mai's ghostly laughter echoing, leaving a chilling atmosphere of love, betrayal, and revenge.